You were going to do some quotes. We are like wild this episode.
It's what she would have wanted.
Right. Yeah. She wasn't, composed and demure or anything at all. She was a known frenetic lunatic. What's up, Airheads? Welcome back. It's time once again for another rendition of Puttin on Airs. Not a lot going on in the world this week. Not a lot of famous people dying or wars getting started or nothing. So, we're having trouble thinking what to talk about, although we don't talk about what's going on in the world generally anyway. But, we got a show for you today. Of course, we have a show. It's fun. It's a ringing endorsement from me. We got a show for you. It's going to be one of the shows of all time that we've done.
That's how Conan used to start out every show, by the way, that he would do. Where he was like, this week, we got a great show for you. Last week, I don't know what we were thinking. But man, hey, also, I would like to point out to everybody that this isn't just a tank top. This is a full deal. This is a full deal dress. And I believe that my figure is pulling it off quite nicely. Trae,
it feels a little early. I know October is here, but it's only October 2nd. As we record this, it's October 4th when it comes out. Trae, it's full 27 days before Halloween. You're putting Katie to shame out here. Like, she's Halloween fanatic, and even she ain't started spooking it up yet.
Trae, I'll explain it to you in a minute, but first I would like to address something that you mentioned in one of our ads that people will hear later. But you accidentally called salmon, right?
Yeah.
And there's a huge debate, and I can only speak for the South. There's a huge debate amongst my friends of whether or not it's salmon or salmon.
Now, I don't think it's much of a debate. Really.
Here's the debate is between dumbasses and me. Okay, it's between dumbasses and me because I know that it's salmon, right? Yeah. But I've got a buddy who he actually falls somewhere in between on the argument, and he's not saying this is a bit. He really believes this is true, and I'll explain to you why he thinks this is true and how I found it out afterwards. I told him one day, I was like, I'm not going to say his name, but I was like, buddy, it's not salmon, it's salmon. The L is silent. He goes, sometimes, yeah. And I was like, what do you mean sometimes? And he goes, well, if you're at a restaurant and you get as your meal, you get a piece of fish, that's salmon. Yeah. But if you get them in patty form, they're salmon patties. And what I found out is that his grandma, because I used to go over there all the time, his grandma made salmon patties, and that's what she called them. And a redneck boy cannot admit that his grandma is wrong. So in his brain, it was like, no. They're salmon when they're patties, and they're salmon when it's cooked like a fish.
My mama cat, salmon patties was an absolute go-to for her, too. Now, she's been dead since 2009, I think, a long time. I'm trying to think, I think she said salmon. I'm not 100% sure, though. I mean, she was pretty red-ass old Southern mamaw for sure. Maybe she said salmon. I don't know, but I think she said salmon. My granny
said salmon, and she was a fucking stupid moron.
Right. So, yeah, I'm saying I don't think it's just people who, some people just don't say it right.
Yeah.
Reason it was just last night, me and Katie and the boys were watching this game show, and one of the questions involved salmon, and the boys were reading it, and they both said salmon, but they don't know, they're kids. It's got an L in it. So I get it. But they were but they said it, and I was like, no, actually, guys, it's salmon. And they were like, but there's an L right there. It's spelled, and I was like, I know, English is weird. You know that. It's salmon. But anyway, that just happened last night, which is what prompted me to accidentally say salmon while reading an ad. But no, I know that it's salmon.
We're not sponsored by them, so I shouldn't be saying this.
Okay.
But I don't know that I've ever had this particular. I'm a Cabernet Sauvignon guy. That's my red. What's your red?
Could not care less.
Yeah, I hear you.
Any red, blend, pour them all together. I don't give a shit. Boof it up my butthole, whatever. I don't, I'm going to put it on ice anyway, and it's probably coming out of a box. So whether it's a nice Pinot or a Cab Sav or fucking no, not Riesling is white. What's the Shiraz?
Shiraz, yeah.
That's a red,
Shiraz.
Isn't it?
Now, I would like to say this is ice cold to the point of being frigid.
Are you about to plug Barefoot Cabernet?
Yeah, I've never, because this one
that was really our good house wine at Old Charlie's.
I know
20 years ago.
Hey, how do you think this don't fit the show? This is trash wine. This shit right here, dog. This shit right here. I just
feel like it's sort of like being like, damn, have you ever had Bud Light? I mean, they're not on the level of Bud Light,
but hear me out.
Busch Light, maybe. I'm trying to think of a good analogy.
Hear me out.
It's not an obscure pull that you're like, y'all got to try this.
Hold on just a second, you fucking pretentious piece of shit. Did I say this is an obscure pull? I never said this is an obscure pull. I'm saying to you, and if you would ever let me finish a fucking sentence, the reason I think that I like this the most, because normally when I get a Cab Sav, I always go for like the middle shelf. I don't go for the bottom shelf. Well, this is near the bottom, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. The reason I think I like it the most is because it's objectively the worst one. You know what I mean? Like, I can taste the fruit in it. In other wines, you know how they're like...
you're saying it don't hit, but that's why it hits
right, for you. But it hits for me. Like, it kind of tastes like Kool-Aid.
Well, I tell you what fucking tastes like Kool-Aid. Where were you at on Boone's Farm? That's a trash staple as far as I'm concerned.
Dude, here's the deal. Let me tell you the Russian doll.
What is Boone's Farm? Wine coolers? Is that what that is?
Wine coolers. It's Sprite mixed with vodka, I think.
But also Kool-Aid.
And Kool-Aid.
It's fruity, yeah.
Let me give you here's in my opinion the Russian doll or the variations of your Boone's Farm and how they end up. Like they say that marijuana is a gateway drug, which it's not. I mean, okay, it kind of is. It's not, but you do it first, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You do it first. But I've never taken a hit of a joint and been like, heroin, let me do that now. It's just that, like, it is the one that eases you in.
I think that there's people that, I mean, yeah, that's true. But I think that, I mean, I've known over the years in my life so many people that fucked with weed that were like terrified of other drugs. You know what I mean? And always I think it's like, I don't know if it's how you raised or just something inherent in a person's personality or what, but I don't think that if you got it within you to be a degenerate and just, hit real hard on any kind of drugs,
you just gonna do them all.
If you start with weed, that's kind of the natural progression. But you was probably always gonna. It's the easiest one to get, and you was probably always gonna keep going regardless. Is sort of how I feel about it.
You know what's funny about me is that like I will do every drug known to man except weed. Most of the time.
I'm that way. I mean, I don't do a lot of drugs anymore, but like
weed scare me more than anything.
I feel the same way though. Like I would rather Drew Carey's got a pretty famous or well known This Is Not Happening that I know you love.
It's great.
Is it a Fish concert he's at, or
he was at
Widespread Panic?
Widespread. Well,
it was either one of them jam bands, right?
Yeah, it was
one of them big jam bands concert, and he keeps telling it the whole time throughout. He's like, not me, my friend. He's like, I host The Price is Right.
I would never do that because I'm the host of The Price is Right.
But my friend was super fucked up, right? And he was like, listing off all the drugs that his friend had done, and it was all kinds of shit. It was like mushrooms, acid, little
Molly,
whatever else, Molly. It's like he'd done all this stuff throughout the course of the day, and he was like, for some reason, I took like a couple of hits of a joint. And that just ruined everything. Like that just put me over the edge or whatever. And the top comment on YouTube quoted that was like, sometimes it be that way.
It do be that way.
Everybody that was like, it do. And I was like, it do be that way. Because now I'm the dude, weed, I'm more scared of weed and it will fuck me up worse than pretty much. I mean, I've never tried like fucking PCP or nothing, but I swear to God, I think I could probably handle PCP better than I can handle getting too high, and it don't take much to make me too high either. So, like,
I've done heroin, and I could shake heroin off way easier than I could. By the way, I'm not any kids listening to this. Don't weed is way better for you. I'm just saying, if I ever needed to snap out of heroin, I could do it. But weed, I'm freaked out all fucking day. That's so far from the point of everything we were saying.
Yeah. I don't even remember what we were saying. I know what we're trying to get to eventually, but we're in the weeds right now, literally.
Oh, I was just talking about how that wine was really hitting for me.
Yeah. Is that your first wine of the day, Joe?
Yes. And by the way, I wasn't going to drink today. I told my wife I wasn't going to drink today, but I'm drinking out of a skeleton goblet, as you can see. I'm wearing a black dress and a witch's hat, and it's not for Halloween. I know you mentioned earlier I was out Halloweening Katie. It's not for Halloween.
Well, that's what people are going to think, Yeah.
So. Well, no, because they'll see the title.
Oh, you're right. Well, you told me not to address the topic for whatever reason, so I had to say something else, And what else am I going to say besides it looks Halloween?
I just thought it would be funny.
If you just had that on?
Yeah.
It is funny.
Thank you. I'm in mourning, and I've told you to wear black, and for the first time, you actually did do something.
It's funny because you were like, don't forget to wear black. And I grabbed this, and I was like, he gonna make me feel like I'm being disrespectful because I'm in a V-neck, even though it's a black shirt. It's like, this ain't a black button up, so he's gonna be like,
no,
he's gonna jab me, he's gonna roast me a little bit because this is not, whatever somber.
I'm just happy that you listen to me.
Somber enough, and then I show up and you're bursting out of a fucking Party City witch's hat or whatever. So it's like, I don't know what I was worried about. I don't know what I expected.
Well, first off, I'm just happy
Maggie Smith.
Dame Maggie Smith has passed away. Wand's up. This is as good as I could do. This is a cheese grater.
Man, I've actually got a wand. I've got a couple of them somewhere in my house because we've been to Harry Potter World or whatever, and we bought the wands and all that.
I got a couple. I couldn't decide on which one to use. I landed on the cheese grater, which, by the way, these are the best cheese graters. I don't know if you have these.
Yeah, but and then like a zester that.
It's zester, but it's good for Parmesan.
Yeah, I know.
I've also got my muddler, which I thought would have worked, and also since she was a professor, my expo marker. I thought either one would have worked. Dame Maggie Smith passed away, and Trae, it's one of those things where you knew it was gonna happen. Like, you knew she's old. She's been old our whole life.
Well, that's what I was about to say. She's one of them that's like, she has been seemingly pretty much the same age for like my entire living memory, basically. So it's like, yeah, of course, eventually people die, but it's also like she seemed almost ageless or whatever.
Yes.
So, but she had to be, how old was she? 80, late 80s, 90?
I would say older than that. She was probably 93. Let's go to Maggie Smith's Wikipedia real quick just to find out, because I would say she was older. She was 89. Dude, I would have guessed old. I would have guessed she was 89 in Hook, which granted they did some makeup and stuff on her. But I wanted to talk about that later, but since we're already here, can I just say that that's the best movie Maggie Smith's ever been in is Hook?
You're counting the Harry Potter franchise, right?
Yeah, Hook's better than any of them.
I know she's I don't know if I agree with that. I like Hook. Hook is kind of a divisive.
Yeah, because Steven Spielberg don't even like it. That's what I found out, and I didn't understand.
Dude, who'd you say don't like it?
Steven Spielberg regrets making it.
A lot of people. It's a very divisive movie. Like it was kind
ahead of its time.
It was kind of panned and reviled by a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, "No, that movie's a classic." I think it's good. It's not like it's not an enduring classic for me personally.
I don't want to do this.
Why not? You're the one who said it was her best movie. That's fine. I mean, that could be your opinion.
Well, I thought we were. Well, no, but I thought we were both going to fawn over it, and I thought we were going to have like a moment where we were talking about how, like, as kids, we loved it, and we were upset that it was so divided, and that's clearly not what's going to happen, and that's not how I wanted this to go.
How you feel about? So what, Rufio? That was your boy?
No, fuck Rufio. He didn't hit.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Why not?
I mean, he hit at the end, and his death was very important. Right. But like, no, he was against Pan. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be.
Yeah, but he was cool though. He was
he was cool.
He was like early 90s
skateboarding stuff,
punky. Yeah,
his skateboarding stuff was awesome. And him in the game. Did you ever play the game Hook?
No, on what?
Oh, it was for Sega, I think. There was a game.
I played I played like the Lion King and Aladdin and Toy Story.
Yeah,
and those were all the shit. But I didn't even know Hook had a game.
You could play as Rufio, and it was very, 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 very badass. Anyways, point is, Dame Maggie Smith has passed away, and like you said, like she seemed ageless. Like when I found out that Maggie Smith passed away, like to me, it would be like finding out that Saturday Night Live had been canceled. You're like, wait, you can't do that. Like even if it's not that good anymore, you can't do that because that's an institution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But, again, it's also like, I mean, she had a hell of a run, obviously.
Dude, such a good run. I mean? Have you seen pictures of her when she was younger? Pull one up. Yeah. Young Jamie.
Is that, you're telling me to do that?
I'm telling you to. I'm telling you to pull one up because I want to tell you right now, it's weird how we do this with like, it's like with older, again, me and you have only known her as one age. Like my grandmother, for instance, it's almost like I can't fathom a time when she was young. And then you see pictures of young Maggie Smith and you're like, oh, right. She was an actress. You know what I mean? She's a fucking fox, dude. Hold on. Those aren't good pictures.
How do you mean?
I mean, those are fine pictures, but I saw.
That's a pretty good picture.
Yeah, no. She's a fox, dude. I
saw
one.
That's a good picture.
Dude. Absolute fox. There was one I saw the other day, though, that I was just like, holy fuck, what a knockout. And it's like, well, yeah, you don't get to be a mainstay in Hollywood unless at one point you was hot. You know what I'm saying?
She's doing it right there.
She's doing it, dude. But she's so many people's
You ever seen young Diana Rigg?
No, I have not.
Not to take the shine off of.
No, that's okay. I think she would want it.
Diana Rigg, the Queen of Thorns from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Woo-wee.
Yeah, she was fine. Yeah,
that's Lady Tyrell, right?
Lady Olenna Tyrell, yeah, the Queen of Thorns, one of the hittingest characters
ever
in the whole show. Yeah.
Man.
I put her I wish there'd be some sort of crossover universe thing where she could meet the Dowager Countess and they could
that would be so awesome.
Makes no real sense at all, but I would just love to see it.
Neither does season 8 of Game of Thrones, so it doesn't matter. Speaking of which, I did want to, while we're here, I wanted to go over a couple of the Dowager Countess's famous quotes. Now, for
I had some of those pulled up.
Okay,
too.
well, I'd rather you do it then. You probably curated them better.
No, I didn't. I just literally pulled up a Reddit tab that's about that.
Me too.
So you probably.
Me too.
Okay. All right. Well.
I do want to. We do have new listeners to this podcast. Like I think we make the mistake often. Not that we have to do. Not like that. Every episode has to be completely episodic, but like. I feel like we do make the mistake often of assuming everyone knows everything about us. And we do have some new listeners that came over from the Dollop. So I think it'd be nice to give a little background information. Our infatuation with Maggie Smith goes a little bit deeper than just the Harry Potter and just a lot of that stuff, because me and Trae's Maggie Smith kind of has a lot to do with the foundation of our friendship, I would say.
That's true.
Because the foundation of our friendship, I think we would have been friends anyways, but I don't know if we would have been as close if it weren't for the fact that when we met at an open mic, I don't know which one of us is the one that brought it up first, but it got brought up between us that our respective favorite show at the time was Downton Abbey, which was bizarre. It's bizarre for it to be either one of our favorite shows, but for it to be both of our favorite shows made me and Trae realize, like, holy shit, that's a wild thing to have in common. What other up our own ass things do we like? And that was essentially the basis for the show that you're listening to right now, which is Puttin on Airs. We wrote a blog about it, which I thought about mining for some hits, but then I realized I don't know if we want that URL out everywhere. Anyway,
I mean, famous last words, but I feel like on the rare occasions over the years that I've gone back and revisited that blog, I've mostly just thought it was hilarious.
It is hilarious. I'm sure I used some slurs.
It was also kind of a fever dream in that, like,
I can't believe we did it.
Well, I mean, the first of all, the idea that we had an idea and then actually did a thing, but just the combination of Downton Abbey and a weight loss competition, I mean, makes no real kind of sense at all.
That's how you know we're brilliant.
Yeah, it's very discordant. I'm saying when I've gone back and revisited that blog we wrote, it's like it's very much it's two completely separate things that we just do together at the same time every week, basically.
Yeah,
like there's no real. It did hit. It is funny, but it's like there's no real through line or anything. It's just like, here's what happened with the weight loss this week. Also, on this week's episode of Downton Abbey, this happened, and never the twain shall meet. And it's like that every single week.
The name.
I know. That's what I'm saying. The only thing was the name, which is Downton Flabby. That was the whole idea of the whole thing. But it was funny, though.
You're acting like shows like Eric Andre and Tim and Eric have never existed. Like, there is something to be said of stuff coming out of left field and being brilliant. I know that now. I know that stuff is not for you.
Right. That's never really been my thing.
But you did participate in it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's just it's not Eric Andre and shit is like avant-garde. Like,
so it's what we did.
I don't know.
Okay, what was guard about it?
Oh, okay, we have. It's like there's a blog about us doing a weight loss competition against each other.
Correct.
Also, there's a blog where we do every episode breakdowns or recaps of
correct
that season of Downton Abbey. Both of those are very standard ideas, and then it's correct. Just like let's just put those together into one thing, but not paragraph by, it's not woven throughout and meshed into one thing, which would, I guess, be kind of avant-garde. We start by talking about one of those things, and then there's a hard cut, and then we talk about the other thing. So it's like just two different blogs share a website, which I would not call avant-garde. Personally.
I would say,
I think you're the one who's a little up your butt right now, is what I think.
You
called me up my butt earlier. I think you're up your butt at this point in time.
I would say. Well, I'm doing a bit. I would say one is avant and the other is guard. And that's what we've done. Most people do avant-garde. What we did was we separated where avant meets guard, and we took them away from one another and says, why do we have to have avant-garde together? Why not have avant over here, guard here, and then the reader can decide which one they like the most? What do you think about that?
Remember the R&B singer Avant?
No.
Yeah, I thought you probably wouldn't. I hadn't thought of him in years till you said that.
Why'd you think I wouldn't? Because I didn't go to a black school like you piece of shit.
No, because I
went to the fucking
first of all,
with a black chick.
First of all, you didn't. So, you're like flipping the fuck out that I said, I figured you probably wouldn't. But you didn't. I was right. So this level of indignation makes no sense.
I have way more of a connection to black people than you do. Way more of a connection to all my cousins are black, and I went to prom with a black girl.
That's fine.
Hit for black people way harder than you do.
Okay, you have black cousins, that's fine. But my town has black people in it, and they're in our school, and we have a black neighborhood and shit.
Okay, and by the way, you're right. I don't know who this person is, and it's 100% because of what we just said.
No, what? No, the reason I assumed you wouldn't remember him is because it's a deep ass pull. Is what I meant. He's very obscure. He's from the early 2000s, and he had no shelf life. So nobody remembers.
You went to a black school.
No, I had not thought of him in years until you said one's Avant. One's guard, and I was like, Avant, that was a singer. And I looked him up. I hadn't thought of him in 20 years, which is why I expected you to not remember him. What?
What was his deep cut?
Making Good Love is the song that I remember. I don't remember how it goes even. I just remember he has it. I can't play it.
Was it one that was played at dances and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this song hits.
Okay, hold on, play it.
We'll get in trouble, won't we?
I'll stripe it off from the YouTube one, and only people that listen can hear it. And I'll sing it for everybody.
We'll just play a little bit then, so we don't have it.
I think if we sing over it, then it'll be fine.
Let's see. I mean, look, dude, this song has 50 million views on YouTube. Like this was a hit, but it's like he was a one-hit wonder basically, and it's from 20-something years ago.
Yeah, play that shit.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
When it's sexing me, girl, I the temperature rising. The feeling nature too.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hang on. Grumpy, let's do what we came to do. Make love all night. Yeah. Oh, this song slaps. I'm going to have to put this on playlist.
Put that on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I definitely
you still got hing, don't you?
I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I follow it. And by the way, I don't ever. I use it when I jack off.
I've got a Spotify playlist called, which is the coming noise. And it's sex. It's a sex playlist, but it's only got like 20 songs on it because, it was heavily curated. But I do still have it on my Spotify account, but I haven't updated it in a while. But that song would make a good addition to it. You're right. But I'm glad you reminded me of Avant because I love when I find a song that hit for me as a kid that I haven't heard in a long, long time. And that is one of those. And I'm pretty thrilled because that song really hits for me.
This is a great time to take a break. We're going to take a break right now, and we will be right back right after this with more Dame Maggie Smith stuff.
All right, y'all. Does Blue Chew work? Well, if you're asking that question, we want you to know that Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is by giving you a month free. Try it and find out for yourself. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew's tablets are made here in the US of A, prepared and shipped directly to your door. That's the best part of the whole thing. It's all done online. That means no more visits to the doctor's office, no more awkward wiener conversations, no more waiting in line at the pharmacy, running into your old librarian, none of that. You can take them anytime, day or night. So you can plan ahead to get down, or you can just be ready to get down whenever an opportunity comes up. Joe, tell them more.
Man, I love it. And you asked, does it work? I'll tell you what, it makes my dick harder than this hat's having to work to stay on my head. Or might I say, it makes my dick harder than dealing with the loss of Dame Maggie Smith. And if you don't think you need it, well, that's fine. Sometimes, even if you don't need something, that doesn't mean you can't benefit from it. My thingy works just fine. It's just that when I take Blue Chew, woo! That's all I can say, baby. And you can try it for free 1 month and see, and you're going to love it. Your partner's going to love it too. Amber loves it. I almost said Andrew. That was a Freudian slip. Amber loves it more than anything. Her favorite time of month is that little white envelope coming to the mailbox because she knows that I'm about to blow it out, baby. Best sex of your life. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and Blue Chew can give you that confidence where it counts. Blue Chew wants you to have the confidence to perform at your best, so discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use promo code POA at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code POA to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. And Trae,
get you a new dick.
Get you a new dick. Sweater weather pairs perfectly with savory fall foods, but with your busy schedule, sometimes it's hard to eat the way that you'd like, and that's where our buddies at Factor comes in. Their chefs do the shopping and the chopping to bring you fresh, never frozen, by the way, fully cooked meals right to your doorstep. All you have to do is heat it and eat it. All of their meals are dietitian approved, so you know that you're getting the nutrition you need along with the fall flavors you crave. When it comes to meals, everybody wants the same thing. Options. We don't want to just eat the same thing all the time like these insane meal preppers. That's why Factor offers 35 wholesome meals every week, including Gourmet Plus, Keto, Calorie Smart, Vegan, Veggie, whatever it is that you're into, you ain't got an excuse. They got it. You can find something that you love that suits your lifestyle. And there's more to Factor than just lunches and dinners. There's easy breakfast. There's smoothies, which holy curse word, Batman. I love their smoothies. The delectable midnight snacks, which your boy has from midnight till about 3 a.m. Me and Trae are about the same over there. Factor has over 60 plus add-ons to help keep you fueled and focused 24/7 with and I love this word, it's almost like Trae Crowder wrote it, a plethora of flavors. You'll never get bored. Trae, tell them more about Factor.
Yeah, love Factor. Loved it from the moment I found it. My favorite thing about it is it's great for lunchtime. You get busy in the day, and you want something that's fast and easy, but it's hard to get something fast and easy that also hits. But Factor has cracked that code. They've got it. They've got that strange alchemy of quick and also good going on. That's why I've become a big fan of Devotee. We get it here at the house. Me and Katie both really dig it. And this fall, you got a lot going on outside of the kitchen, like I said, so keep your plans and turn to Factor because they deliver fresh, nutritious, chef-prepared meals ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Whether you're managing your calories, maximizing your protein intake, or simply just trying to eat a more balanced diet, Factor has dietitian-approved meals that will help you meet your wellness goals. Choose from 6 meal preferences, including keto, calorie smart, and vegan and veggie, and round out your order with nutrient-rich smoothies, snacks, and energy shots to keep you satisfied all day long. You work hard, so treat your body right with Factor. Their fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted meals make it easy to get the nutrition you need with a restaurant-like experience you deserve. There's no prep, no mess, just delicious meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, blackened salmon, all that salmon delivered right to your door. Ready.
You say salmon?
I mean, no, I don't. I say salmon. I don't know why I did that. I think it's because my sons, they thought it was salmon, and they were talking about it last night, and I was telling them, no, it's salmon, and anyway.
Remind me when we start the show to expand on that. Go ahead.
Okay. Ready in just 2 minutes. You'll savor every last bite. Here's what you can do. Head to factormeals.com/POA50 and use the code POA50 to get 50% off your first month and 20% off your next month. That's code POA50 at factormeals.com/POA50 to get 50% off your first month and 20% off the next. Factor. It hits. All right, well, we're back, and I thought you were going to do some quotes. We are like wild this episode.
It's what she would have wanted.
Right, yeah, she wasn't, composed and demure or anything at all. She was a known frenetic lunatic. This is obviously thematically appropriate, what we've been doing here, but you were going to do some Dowager Countess quotes, which hits for
Yes,
me.
I was. On going behind a husband's back, the Dowager Countess said, "That is a scruple no successful wife can afford." I love that. This might be my favorite. I might be busting my wad too soon. This is on Sybil. God rest her soul.
Rest her soul.
Jesus Christ. On Sybil being entitled to her own opinions. Do you want to try to guess this one?
I'm going to know it when you say it, but I don't remember it.
On Sybil being entitled to her own opinions. No, she isn't until she is married. Then her husband will tell her what her opinions are. So true.
Classic.
I do. Go ahead.
Remember one of my favorites is it's Matthew, right? Matthew Crawley.
Yes.
What's his real name? He hits Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens.
He ruled.
When he first, so this is like the first season, he first comes along and he's like a sort of middle class cousin they found and brought into the fold. So he might as well be like street trash to them essentially. But he's still
a doctor.
I know, right? Yeah. And they were like, ugh, and he's in one of the first meals with them, and he's talking about doctor
having to go to work.
Yeah, and he says something about, I can do that on the weekend or whatever. And she goes, "What on earth is a weekend?"
What is a weekend? Because to them, for those of you that don't know, every day hits. Every day is a goddamn Saturday.
I'm just pulling these from memory. There's that one and another one that I'm paraphrasing, but like she sits in a chair that like fucking swivels or something and catches her off guard and it don't hit for her, and it was like it had been Thomas Jefferson's chair or something, and she says something like every day it's a new slight from an American or something like that. Like I cannot go a day without being accosted by an American. Something like that,
dude.
But she just used to kill me, dude.
It's also the writing. Obviously, Julian Fellows was tremendous at his writing, but no one.
You watched the Gilded Age?
I've seen the first season. I haven't seen the second season. It scratches the itch, but not as much as I'd like.
Right. Well, I mean, they ain't British, I know. It's like,
I know. I need him to be British.
The British part is just such a colossal part of it. Right. Like, I get why he would want to cover the like American aristocracy, And it does hit. It does. Like, if you like this shit, it does hit, but it's just not the same because they're just, stupid talking American dumbasses like we are. Well, no, not like us, but, they don't hit as hard.
It's like Joe Dirt wouldn't hit as hard if that was a family from New York. You know what I mean? Same story, whatever. But yes, that quote hits. I do think a woman's place is eventually in the home, but I see no harm in her having some fun before she gets there. I assume that's on being a whore. In my day, I love this. In my day, a lady was incapable of feeling physical attraction until she had been instructed to do so by her mama.
Here's one. It says, of course it would happen to a foreigner. No Englishman would dream of dying in someone else's house.
That is from the first, either the first episode.
That dude Mary is porking dies.
His name is Farouk. His name is Farouk, and I know that because he is the lead. He's the star of the show, The Gentleman. That's that same guy.
Oh, shit.
That's
How
him.
about that?
Yeah,
I'll be damned.
He dies of some sort of stroke or heart attack or whatever while she's fucking him, and they have to pretend like that didn't happen because if Lady Mary had been deflowered, then that would devalue her, and thus she would never... I don't think she would have been able to marry Matthew. She wouldn't have been able to be courted by a duke. There was a whole lot of rules that they lived by.
Yeah. Isabel says, I take that as a compliment. And Violet says, well, I must have said it wrong.
Dude, her and fucking Isabel's relationship is one of the greatest in history because what's great about it is in both regards, like, if we were to know Isabel, we would consider her what a lot of people consider Maggie Smith. Like, she's this up to do, very British woman. But to them, it's kind of like Elon Musk hanging out with Mark Cuban. It's like Mark Cuban's trash to him because he don't have near as much money, even though to us, they're the same thing. You know what I mean? But they're not the same thing. Okay. Here's one on parenting. Isabel says, were you a very involved mother? Violet, does it surprise you? Isabel, I'd imagine them surrounded by nannies and governesses being starched and ironed to spend an hour with you after tea. Violet, yes, but it was an hour every day.
Right. That show was the first time I'd ever been introduced to that idea or realized that's how they operate, the British aristocracy with their children. It's like they eat an elaborate dinner given to them by a whole staff of servants. They put on their jackets and go to the room and have a cigarette and a whiskey and, a digestif or whatever. And then after that, they pull out a newspaper and bring in the children. And they just haul these babies in there and just sit them give them one of those little fucking rattles or something and just sit them in the middle of the room. And they presented to their parents yes, quite. That'll be quite enough, I think. And then they just take the
back
children
to their
back
window
away.
Cage.
And that, and that's it. That shit was just so wild to me because it's like, I don't know. Do they still do that? I mean, I thought isn't William and Kate? Haven't they made a whole thing out of no, we actually
and that's why it's a big deal. Yeah,
right. But that's their thing, right?
Deal.
It's we actually care about our children. We keep them around. We feed them and stuff ourselves.
Right. But you know what? I bet you that their version is still less than ours is.
I mean, every time I've seen a picture of them out in public and one of the kids is there's definitely help around. There's people around them that I know are some kind of servants or something.
Like not to brag on me and you, though I will for a second. Speaking for myself, I'll let you speak for yourself. I'm an insanely involved dad. The only time me and my son are not together is when I'm talking to you right now. Right. And because we're currently making money that I will give my son. You know what I mean? But other than that, today, first thing we did when we got up, I made him breakfast. We sat there, watched our cartoons. Then we went for a walk in the park. Then we took a fucking nap together. As soon as I get done doing this, I'm running downstairs. I'm wrestling with him. I'm throwing him on whatever. If he wants to go for a ride, I'm not going to take him on the ride because I've been drinking this lovely barefoot wine. But I can't, when I see people who don't do that. I don't like. Okay. Let me put it to you this way. I'm not making any sort of concerted effort. I want to do this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Like this is not me going like, okay, Corey, goddamn it, today you're going to be a good dad. It just comes out of me because I love that motherfucker. Like he's mine. He came from my loins. I want to be with him. So like for them to be like again, I'm sure they're being applauded just for like going in there at night and giving them a kiss on the fucking forehead. That's probably all it is.
Yeah, probably. I mean, no, I'm with you. I've always been, I don't understand. I mean, ever since I had kids, and it's fucking 12 years for me now, I've never understood.
And you were my role model, by the way.
Well, but it's like you said, I mean, I was the exact same way you just described yourself. It's not any kind of like decision I made or nothing. It's just how it was, it's just how I felt. You feel it's like it unlocks this like intense fucking love and devotion or whatever. Right. And it's like, it just is what it is. But then you meet people who it's like, or you have a parent sometimes who clearly just don't have that. And it's like, it just blows my mind. Because again, to me, it doesn't seem
are they bad
optional.
People or am I better?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Because like to me, it does not seem like an option. It's not a choice that I ever made. It just is the way it is. I cannot fathom people who are just like, nah, I don't really, I don't really fuck with all that.
Kids that?
So many dudes though, especially where we're from, and especially in like older generations. But even today, so many dudes are just like, it's woman shit. Like I got a job. I make the money, but then I go to the bar with the boys afterwards. I come home drunk. I fucking tune her up if she ain't got the casserole right. Whatever. It's still 1962 in parts of Clay County.
And by the way, I'm jealous of those guys.
Right.
To a degree.
And they're like, the kids are, they like in their way, they do love their kids, but they're not like affectionate or all that present or whatever.
Their kids are an obstacle to them doing what they want to do.
Also, they would feel weird. Like if they have a son, if they were to like hug their son or say I love you to their son, that's like gay to them, like that type of thing.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Like I love my dad, but I had that type of. I mean, that was me. Like
you mean your dad was like that to you?
We've never. My dad actually said the night I got my DUI, he knew the reason that he knew I was drunk is because I said I love you before I left the house.
Okay, but that I don't.
But he never said. But he never said it to me
automatically on him. I love Dale too. Sorry to Dale.
I know it is, but I'm saying I know my dad loves me.
You can't be like, me and my dad have that relationship. I mean, you do, but it's because of him. It's not because of you.
I know it is. And I know it is. I know it is. And by the way, I'm not shitting on my dad because he came from a different generation. Like his dad didn't do it to him. But my point is like. But see, that's what happens is they go, well, my daddy did this, so I'm not doing that. Like everything that I do is like a deflection of like, nope. Hey, Corey, you didn't like this. So why would you do it? You know what I mean? Like, and again, and dude, my dad rules and my dad loves me. My dad shows me he loves me in other ways, but like I hug and kiss on my son and that's never going to change. Like it's never going to change. And I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
Right.
But dude, my friends, and this don't have to turn into the We Hit His Parents podcast, but I do have one last thing to say.
Some people it don't hit for. And I know you don't give a fuck. They can kiss your ass. I don't care.
They can kiss my goddamn ass.
Go ahead.
I have friends. Now, some of them don't have kids, so I'm like, all right, you just don't know. But some of them do, right? Some of them do have kids. And like, they'll call me on like a Wednesday or something. Like tonight we record on Wednesdays. They go to the bars on Wednesdays and they'll be like, dude, are you finally going to come to the bar tonight? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why? And I go, because as soon as I get done with my podcast, I'm going to go down and I'm going to fix something to eat for my kid. I'm going to watch him eat it because he's so funny. Kids are hilarious when they eat. They just are. They're funny when they eat. And then I eat his shit. And then I'm like, and after that, we're going to watch something. And I'm going to, Bane has gotten to where he can kick a ball now. Not real good, but he can kick a ball. And me and him play soccer in our hallway. And if he doesn't feel like kicking it, he'll get the ball and he'll come bring it to me so I can kick it and I'll kick it and he'll laugh. That is so much more fun than going to the bar with my friends. But not to them, it's not. And they're like, They're like, you can't take one day off to come hang out with us. And I'm like, I don't want to take one day. What do you mean?
Right.
The whole time I'm sitting there talking to you, I'm going to wish I was with him. The fuck out of here.
I tried to, first of all, remind me there was a thing I wanted to ask you about Dale, but on this note, I did a parenting show once, in LA, there's all these shows that have themes and shit. One of them was about parenting and I got asked to do it. And I was like, yeah, they'll give me an excuse to write some parenting material. So ostensibly everybody in the crowd has children and also like young children. And I tried to do this whole thing related to what you were just saying, where I was like, people, and I was comparing it to people who don't have kids. It's like people who don't have kids, they don't understand. They're like, oh, you have a kid and you can't do stuff anymore. You can't go. And my whole thing was like, I was like, you think I want to fucking do stuff? Like, dude, doing stuff sucks.
The reason you
that's
have
one of the
hiddenness
part of having kids is it's like a foolproof excuse that you can play at any time to get out of doing stuff because doing stuff don't hit. And but
these people don't have PlayStation 5s, dude.
But it didn't full out bomb. It got some tittering, but there was clearly it was a moment for me in my head where I was like, oh, clearly a whole lot of people do not feel that way. Even other parents still feel like, no, I need to get out of the house and have somebody else watch the kid and get. I don't know. I think that's at least debatable.
No, Trae, shut the fuck up.
If you're like a shitty husband and dad who's out at the bar with your homies all the time, that obviously ain't cool. But people like literally just yesterday, in fact, my doctor, not my psychologist.
It's not your life anymore. Abandon all fun. Stay at home with your kid.
But a doctor, I went to my doctor yesterday for a bunch of different reasons. Well, I mean, I'm fine, just like general checkup reasons.
You're not fine.
Well, no, but I mean, physically, I'm fine. I don't have fucking cancer or anything. What do you mean? Yeah, I am. I've got my heart rate, my resting heart rate is that of an athlete. My cholesterol and blood pressure are perfect. Like,
so is mine. Would you consider me fine?
Yeah. Health-wise, really? Yes.
Okay. All right. We're fine.
No, psychologically, I'm not fine. Health-wise, as far as what a doctor does,
psychological
I'm fine.
Is health.
That's mental health.
Okay.
None of this even matters. Fuck it. So Dale, I was going to say about that. Fuck what my doctor said. What Dale said.
No, tell me what your doctor said. I was making a joke that we're both about to die.
My doctor just said, he was like, it's important. He was asking about. He's like, how are the kids doing? How's your wife doing? How's all this stuff? Do you guys get time like to yourselves or whatever? And I was like, well, no, not really. We're both from Tennessee. We're like, we ain't got nobody out here. It's just us. There's no grandparents or nothing. And he was like, yeah, that's tough. And he was like, still though, it's really important. I tell all my patients this or whatever. It's very important, that you have like couple time, like away from children he's like, it's important for a relationship. So I'm saying I don't do that.
It's so much harder than Amber.
Sure. My kid. Yeah. Your kid's also a baby. Mine are almost teenagers. So after 13 years of not ever taking any kind of date night or anything for the most part, I don't think it's unreasonable for some people to feel differently about it or to sing a different tune.
Sure, that's fine. That's fine.
Did Dale need to be in Atlanta for something this weekend?
For your show?
Of? Right. You knew about that, and that's all he was coming down there for?
He wanted me to come with him, and I accidentally ignored his text.
So he...
Did he miss it? Did he miss it?
Well, no. He got down there. He came in. I had him a backstage pass because I thought he was coming to take pictures of me because that's what he did last time.
That's what he said he was doing.
But I had these people there that I had paid money. I mean, they contacted me. They were like, we work with this venue for this amount of money. We take a bunch of pictures and we video stuff. And do you want to do that? And I was like, because it wasn't that much money. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. So I had people taking pictures anyway. And Dale knew that. So he gets down there. And he knows they're there, and he's like, you know where those people are? And I was like, I think they're in the front. So he goes up there and talks to him, and I guess I wasn't with him, but from what he said when he came back, I think he got up there and he's like, listen, guys, this is what we need. You're going to be over here. We're going to get this. We need this. We need this coverage, whatever. And they were like, who the fuck is this dude? But, and he's like, you good? We got that? Everybody good? They were like, yeah, I guess we got that. He was like, all right. He comes back to the green room. He's like, all right, I talked to him. They got it covered. Good to go. You have a good one. I'll see you later. He walks out the back door and just leaves. He drove down to Atlanta, I think, to come in and spend 5 minutes and make sure that, everybody else was going to do the stuff that he thought needed to be done. And then I think just got back in the car and drove back home to the Chickamauga, I'm pretty sure. Like I was like,
he wanted me to come down to do Puttin on Air's photo stuff, and I just ignored it.
Yeah. Okay, because I didn't know. In my head, I was like, maybe I misunderstood, and he was in Atlanta anyway, and he just was going to come by and do that. But if he drove down here just to do that and then turn right around and leave,
by the way, wild. This goes back to what we were just talking about. My dad does need time away from my mom. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's different.
But that is different. But I'm
his
saying
children are full grown.
But like that, in Dad's mind, that wasn't even if it was pointless, it wasn't pointless.
It hit because he got out of the house. Right.
Because like Dad, I guarantee
you got to listen to a new Joe Rogan episode on the way down there or whatever.
Or what he listens to now more than anything is classic. Right? There's a station on Sirius which I love too. And all it is old school radio shows, like from this is the Ivory
like
Soap
Texaco Presents.
Yeah, Texaco Presents the Ivory Soap. Yeah,
so Comedy Hour.
Yeah, and I listen to that too because, as you know, at WeLoveCorey.com, I write those sometimes and record them and do all the voices
the comedy stylings of Harry Parkiakarkis.
Yeah, Parkiakarkis, who, by the way, was Albert Einstein's dad.
Who is Albert Brooks, if people don't know.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I was doing the thing. Everybody else don't know.
Right. If people out there don't know, the famous Albert Brooks, his actual name is Albert Einstein, which is pretty wild. And his dad was a big vaudeville era comedy dude.
Yeah. Well, hey, this is another good time to take a break. And then I have two things that I want to do.
I've got a Maggie Smith. Are these still Maggie Smith things?
Oh, wait. Do you? Well, kind of. Yeah.
Well, I've got at least a couple other Maggie Smith things.
I will do the Maggie Smith, then we'll take a break.
Okay, well, first of all, it's just a quick clip, and I've never seen this because I don't think it made much play outside of the UK, but I want to track this down now, and I'm sure you will too once you see this, if you're not already familiar with it. For all I know, you may have seen this. Is this a
Graham Norton clip?
No, but you may have seen this documentary or this movie. It's like
I love documentary
length. It's like a documentary length podcast, sort of. It's just called
old British ladies hitting.
Tea with the Dames. It's like an hour and a half of Dame Maggie Smith, Dame Judi Dench, Dame Joan Plowright.
If we're asked, we're going to work forever if we're asked.
But you're always asked first, if I may say so. I'm turning on you now. It's all coming out now.
One of my hearing aids is gone. What have we just...
Do you want one of mine? Do you want one of mine?
I know it will fit. It's just what was the last thing said?
Are we going to go on working forever, Joan?
Oh, what's that?
And I said Jude gets all the parts first.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, my agent in America said to me when he knew I couldn't do very much because of the eyesight going, and he said, well, if you do want to come over again, we'll look around for a nice little cameo that Judi Dench hasn't got her paws on.
How rude. It's not rude at all.
Very, very rude. Well, American, darling, that's how they talk.
How hard would it hit to take part in that, or even just to like sit in this? I feel like I could. I was about to say, first of all, I'm gonna watch that whole thing, the full length thing, but also like I feel like I could sit in that room with those old ladies for like 8 hours easily.
More than that,
and not even say a word. Just sit there and just be delighted in my passive, enjoyment of the surroundings.
Let me tell you something right now. My grandmother was in a nursing home for a year before she died. And I used to do the equivalent of that, but just with my granny and other old women, and they didn't even hit.
I was about to say, right?
And it was awesome. You know what I mean? Like it was great. And these women hit like by the way, the comical timing of Maggie Smith to be like, would you like to borrow one of mine hearing aid is tremendous. Also the line of, well, that's a bit rude. Well, it's Americans. That's how they talk over there.
Yeah, right.
So good.
I've always been an Anglophile. That's no secret, but I just want a British mammal so bad. I mean, my mammals were great, but they're dead and gone. I wish I could adopt a mammal, specifically a British one.
I got a Texas one.
Old British ladies. I mean, I have the same one. You talking about Natalie?
Yeah, Natalie.
Yeah. Love Natalie. She hits, but
she ain't British.
No, she ain't British. Exactly. It's like, dude, Mary Berry.
Did she send you her new plum jelly?
I just love Mary Berry. Yeah, Natalie. Yes, dude, she sends me care packages all the time.
Me too.
She's such a sweetheart.
Did she send you the new freeze dried candies that she's making?
Oh yeah, of course.
The
always.
Fucking Skittles.
Freeze dries. The boys love those freeze dried Skittles.
They're amazing. The gummy bears a little too sticky. Sorry, Natalie. The Skittles amazing. The plum jelly unbelievable.
She sent me freeze dried runny white powder. Yeah, you make runny white out of powder. If she didn't send it to you, it's only because you can get it there, and she knows that I can't get it. Or it's only because I didn't
see it in the package. I'm texting this bitch right the fuck now.
She also sent me freeze dried like banana pudding powder and a banana pudding mix with it, which hits. But anyway, yeah, having an adopted mama does hit, but like a British one, especially like a proper lady British mama, like I said, like
we could get one. One listens to this show.
I hope so. It would hit, but I just like I just can't even like just the intense love that I feel for like Mary Berry, for example, which is like
Trae.
Completely like grandmotherly love or whatever.
But do you think that they love with the same grandmotherly love that our grandmothers do? Because they seem a bit
distant.
I
wouldn't even need the like, I don't know, love and leadership part of a grandma. Just the being able to talk to her on the phone, the telly. Just being around her, sitting at the table while she hits.
You talk to Natalie on the phone?
Type of thing. No, I don't like talking on the phone. I've said before.
Me and Natalie talk on the phone, so we have a better relationship than you.
That's fine. You can have that because I've said before, and I mean it. My dad could call me on the phone from beyond the grave and be like, "Check this out. I'm about to dial in Steve McNair, also from beyond the grave. We've been hitting over here on the other plane." And I could have both of them on the phone at the same time. And after 8 minutes, maybe, I'd be like, well, I guess I better.
I've called Trae before.
And getting out of here. Like, I just hate talking on the phone. I'm sorry. Even people I love more than anybody in the world, I do not want to talk. Me and Katie don't ever talk on the phone.
I hate talking I hate talking to Amber on the phone.
But I feel that way about literally everyone. Everyone in my life. There have been times when I
had to, like, tell you something that like I knew it wasn't going to come across in text, or it was like urgent, and I swear to God, I've called Trae. First words out of his mouth ain't even words; it's a sound.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
And then the next thing that he will say was, "This better not could have been a text."
Yeah, right.
And then I'll tell him the thing. And he'll be like, okay. And I'm like, by the way, motherfucker, you think I want to talk to you either? I mean, I do because I love you.
But no one does after they talk to me on the phone. That's the thing. It's like, I hate it so much. It's also like, it like drains other people. It's like on the phone, I'm like Colin Robinson. That's his name, right?
Yes. You always sound, every time
I get an energy empire. Like people could be happy-go-lucky and call me on the phone. And after 5 minutes of talking to me on the phone, they're like, Jesus Christ.
You and my buddy Chris are like that, except for Chris will like call me. So it's like clear that he wanted to talk on the phone. So like I get you don't want to talk on the phone. Chris will call me, and after 5 minutes, I'll be like, "Is this your suicide note? Like, are you what the fuck is happening?" Whereas like me and Robbie, who live 5 minutes from each other, we will literally at least 3 times a week talk for an hour on the phone, easy. Okay. Anyways, we need to take a break.
Hold on. No, we don't.
More Maggie Smith.
Just very quick. I just wanted to do this because they both hit for me. One of them especially hits for me. I wanted to give a shout out and a keep hitting to Dame Maggie Smith's sons, who are also actors, British actors, and Toby Stevens and Chris Larkin. Toby Stevens in particular.
That's his son? Her son?
Toby Stevens, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Toby Stevens is like, will forever be on probably my top 10 list or whatever after he played Captain Flint in Black Sails. Which is one of the most underrated and hardest hitting shows of the past 20 years, bar none. You can tell them I said that if y'all ain't ever seen that show. Also, it's about pirates. Who doesn't like pirates? Like fucking I don't understand how that show wasn't bigger than it was. It's a real hitting, incredibly well done show about fucking pirates. If you've never seen it, you need to watch it. And the main protagonist is played by Maggie Smith's son, Toby Stevens, and he rocks the shit. He also is John Robinson in the Netflix reboot of Lost in Space, which my sons enjoy, and it hits for me too, but they love that show. He's the protagonist of that show, so he crushes. And then his brother, Chris Larkin, her other son, He is a prominent character in Outlander, the historical romance that Katie loves very much.
Amber loves that show so much.
So both of these dudes, both of her sons, they also hit, and they hit for me, especially
he's also in
Toby.
Black Sails and Master and Commander.
He is in Black Sails, but he don't show up until like the third or fourth season or something, and it's kind of a smaller role.
He's one of the midshipmen in Master and Commander, which is a somehow underrated movie, even though it was overrated.
But yeah, anyway, I just want to say Outlander, she's got a legacy of hitting actors also, and I don't think a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people don't know that it's not like Jack Quaid or something, or Wyatt Russell or some of these other people. Everybody knows.
Do that over there. They don't do the tabloidy stuff as much over there. And also, you know what they're bigger into? Because I read this about Maggie Smith. Maggie Smith still, till the day she died, didn't really want to be referred to as a movie star. She wanted to be referred to as a stage actor. And a lot of them over there are like that. They're like, no. I'm a Shakespearean person who pays the bills by playing Professor McGonagall. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so therefore they don't really get into the whole, like, we must do a People magazine cover together and we must do a fucking, whatever. They don't. To them, it's a job
because that shit's gauche. It's gauche and it's tacky and shit, and they know they have fucking class over there. God damn it!
So
anyway, now we can take a break.
We do a break, and then I got two things that'll round out the show that I think are going to hit for you. I'm not 100% sure. I never know because you don't necessarily always fancy me. And then we'll be right back.
Listen, we all got bad habits. Mine, or a friend of mine will say, or we can just say mine. Anyway, it was the kind that you think you're doing so well going without it. You think it's nothing. Got this here bad habit. Then you're out with your friends. They all reach for their bad habits. All of a sudden, you're like, I want one of them bad habits. That's what I want. You feel the urge to not be left out. So you want to ask them. You want to borrow one of theirs. Well, what if I was to tell you that there's a better alternative that helps you kick your bad habit in an enjoyable way? Something that you can take out with you and still be with the boys. We're talking about Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. Flavored air is not the same as vaping. If you compared vapor to sticky soda, Fume's cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has lots of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint and orange vanilla. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, no vapor, and no combustion. Fume draws the flavor into your mouth. Fume fills the void ditching a bad habit can leave. You still got something there to reach for, and Fume is not a vape. There's no vapor. You can use it anywhere you want to. There's no nicotine. It's not addictive. There's non-toxic flavors. It's a guilt-free alternative. There's also no batteries. It's not another thing you need to charge. You never have to charge it, and it looks awesome. You can check out the weighted high-quality design, which has been made to fidget with, which, of course, helps to calm anxiety when you're dealing with your bad habit. They got magnets and snaps and clicks and all sorts of fun little fidgety stuff there on the Fume. And Fume continuously invests in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products, and Fume is backed by doctors in the United States. Cho, tell them what you thought.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. I'm someone who has been big on bad habits my whole life. Fume makes it a lot easier because, that oral fixation, Trae, I know that he's been debunked a lot, but Freud was on to something with that. You got to give him oral fixation because this thing right here, just having something in your hands, it's a big deal. But when I got my Fume, specifically my orange vanilla, because as you know, I'm a fancy boy. I've been across the pond. It reminds me of a lovely little tea that instead of sipping, I'm breathing in. I'll say it's like oxygen 2.0. It's like, why would you breathe regular air when you can breathe fume? You know what I'm saying? It's wonderful. The mint is also good because it tastes like one of the bad habits I used to enjoy a lot when I was living down in a house right next to a gas station with some vagrants. You hear me? Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use our code POA to get a free gift with your journey pack. Head to tryfume.com. That's tryfum.com and use code POA. All right, or scan the QR code that's right here on the screen. You're going to get a free gift with your order today. That is tryfume.com. tryfum.com, code POA. Fume it and doom it. You hear me? Skew.
All right, well, y'all, let's talk about your metabolism. Remember when you found out about your metabolism? You're like, man, you mean this is something that's just vitally important to so many aspects of my life? And I just now found out about it. Also, don't even know how to access it or what to do with it. I can't even, it's just out of my control and it rules my life. That doesn't seem entirely fair. Well, it's not entirely out of your control either, not with Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs, and it gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even your stress management. Here's how it works. All you do is you breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism. It'll tell you whether you're burning mostly fat or mostly carbs at that time. Then Lumen goes a step further and gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You also can breathe into it before and after your workouts or your meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time all throughout the day. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game 24/7, baby. Cho, tell them more.
Guys, this is it right here. This is Lumen. You see this? It's that simple. A lot of you people, I know you putting on airs, folks. You're already breathing into something to start your car. Why not breathe into something to start your day? Because that's the thing. People have always thought, at least in the past 20 years, bread's the enemy. Mashed potatoes are the enemy. I can't have any of the good foods that I want. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes, yeah, you can. Sometimes, in fact, those are good for your body, and it depends on how active you've been. It just depends on what your body's doing. Right? Sometimes your car needs an oil change, and sometimes you need to fill it up with gas. Both things aren't always true at the same time. Your metabolism is, by the way, your body's engine. That's how your body runs. It turns the food you eat into fuel that keeps you going. Your metabolism is at the center of everything you do. That's what Trae said. And Lumen's recommendations, by the way, they are designed to improve your pre and post-workout fueling. It's going to let you know what you should eat so that your body does things better, because why work really hard and not get maximum results? Well, you can do that with Lumen. And if you want to take that next step in improving your health, go to lumen.me/POA to get 15% off your Lumen. That's LUMEN.me/POA for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring the podcast and giving me yet another thing I can breathe into, one of which hits. And we're back. Trae, Dame Maggie Smith dying got me to thinking about what if Harry Potter had been an American show instead.
I've thought about that all the time. Not in depth. I don't know. When I read those books, I used to fantasize about
Atlanta.
They had to have school. They had Atlanta. Exactly. I was always like that. There had to be a wizarding school in Atlanta. What's the Southern wizarding school? I want to see a spinoff set in the South in the wizarding
Donald
world.
Glover's Harry. He's got to be.
But I used to think about that shit all the time. That would smash. They should.
Smash.
I don't know why they don't do that.
Fuck the new HBO show. Make it that. Make it that. Make it enough different. So I have gone out of my way today. Me and my wife did this on our walk with our son. I put her to work, and we have casted all the Harry Potter movies. This is characters spanning all of them. We have casted American actors to play certain characters. Only halfway through did it occur to me, and by the way, this is unconscious racism. Only halfway through did it occur to me. I was like, oh, I can pick black people. The reason they have white people over there is because most people over there be white.
True.
So
sure. And as an exercise, this is, so to be clear, you're casting actual characters from the Harry Potter universe.
Yes.
Right. Instead of
new people,
a whole new story set in the American wizarding world. And also, by the way, they actually. Have you seen the Fantastic Beasts movies? I mean, have you seen them?
I watched the first one. I didn't care for it enough to watch.
Well, they only get worse from there. But
that's what I heard.
But they're set in America, and there's a lot of American wizards. So I'm saying they've broken that seal. I just feel like some spinoffs set in the exact same universe. It's just on the other side of the pond. What was happening in America when all this shit was going on with American wizards? But of course, those would all be brand new characters that are made up out of thin air.
What I've done is I've acted as
we're just pretending Snape was American.
I'm acting as if J.K. Rowling was American, which she certainly acts like one.
Yeah.
And she had casted different people. Now, I immediately didn't realize this. I had a hiccup on the first one, and I had to go. And this is where I came in with like, fuck, just cast black people. Because I didn't realize. I thought for Dumbledore, I was like, it's a lock. It's Donald Sutherland, right? But he's from Canada. And I didn't realize that until afterwards. So I decided,
also,
you know what?
he dead. Let me ask you this about the exercise.
It's fine.
Are you going back 20 years?
I'm going back to when they first made him. So it could have been anybody. You know what I mean? And Donald Sutherland just died. So it's like, whatever.
Right.
I'm going like, yeah.
20 years ago, he could have been cast as Dumbledore.
20 years ago, he could have been
He would
a
have made
Dumbledore.
it through the whole thing.
And don't you think he would have smashed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course he would have. I mean, when did he ever not hit?
But because he is Canadian, I had to scramble, and I was like, oh my God, Morgan Freeman is Dumbledore. Then on a couple of these, I've then added what I originally thought, and then I added a black person that could also play it. And for the ones that I didn't do that, I want you to give me a black person that could play it. So Professor McGonagall, this was the most important one to me because she just passed away, and this was the catalyst for even wanting to do this. So I felt like I had to give her the best possible American actress, and that is Meryl Streep.
Yeah. Meryl Streep.
Originally, I wanted Meryl Streep for Professor Trelawney. However, I thought that in order to do that, Professor Trelawney's the script would have to be changed to make Trelawney's character way bigger. And
I got one for Trelawney. How about Lisa Kudrow as Professor
Lisa
Trelawney?
Kudrow would be great. Would you like to know who I picked for Trelawney?
Oh,
Amy Sedaris.
Oh, yeah, that's a real good one.
Amy Sedaris. Okay, so for Professor Umbridge, I went with Kathy Bates.
I was going to say Kathy Bates. That's who I was.
Were you
say.
really? Okay, now her black alternative, Monique.
Yeah, all right. Monique's out here doing it.
She's still out there doing it, and she can play a cunt with the best of them.
Oh, bro, you ever see Precious? She's mean as hell in that.
I casted her based on Precious. Yeah. So I will be honest with you. Perhaps the hardest one was Snape. And I think
because it's just he's so
British. He's so British.
Everything about him, and also Alan Rickman as him is like a top 5 casting in the history of cinema, as far as I'm concerned.
Now I think this is one I'm expecting a bit of pushback from you, but I want you to really I really want you to open your mind here. This is where I ended up landing. Corey Stoll.
I mean, he hits for me. I like him a lot.
And I don't remember him. Think about him with hair in Midnight in Paris, so you can see him with hair. And think about how evil he was in not only Billions, but fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp and all those things. Like, I think he could kind of pull it off in an American version. Now, my black version for Snape, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I thought Edward Norton.
Edward Norton's better. He wins. All right.
I mean, he can do anything, and he can definitely be all dark and twisted and shit.
You're
and
right.
Weird, like weirdo,
I went into this. I'm not married. I went into this hoping that you would correct me on some, and I believe you. Edward Norton is a better Snape. What do you think about Wesley Snipes for the black Snape, though?
Yeah, that's
okay. Hagrid, again, to me, this one was a layup. John Goodman. Or black version, Michael Clark Duncan.
Okay, yeah.
Professor Trelawney, like I said, Amy Sedaris. Mad-Eye Moody, this was difficult. My initial response was Steve Buscemi. Or, hear me out on this, Jeff Daniels.
I could definitely see that.
Or, hear me out on this, Jeff Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Or, hear me out on this, black version, and I think you know why, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah. Well, that's a little on the nose or on the lazy eye, as it were. But all those hit.
Then we've got Filch. I've only got one answer for this. I think I nailed it. Chris Elliott.
Okay.
Based on his work in Scary Movie with my
strong hand. Yeah.
Gilderoy Lockhart. Okay. You need someone who is handsome. Obviously, he has to be this guy's believable as everyone would fuck him. All the moms want to get his autograph, but he's not really that great of a wizard, and he can also play comedic Timothy Oliphant.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Although one thing I saw people talking about the other day, and I mean, we don't have to do this here because it didn't happen this way, but that like in the books, kind of like with Game of Thrones, like in the books, Gilderoy Lockhart's like 27 or something. Like
I know.
20,
we're going against all that.
He's like, right. You know, like the book version, Gilderoy Lockhart is like Timothy Chalamet like or something.
Snape's like 32 in the movie.
I know, right.
So we just got to go against all that, and we just got to know that CGI works.
Timothy Oliphant, he crushes at playing a himbo for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uncle Vernon, I got 3 here. My first pick is John Polito. You might want to pull him up.
Okay,
John Polito is the character
actor.
Popped
into my head. He's
in Miller's Crossing. He's a mainstay in a lot of the. He's in Homicide. Pull him. Share the screen so everybody can see him.
No, dude, he's definitely perfect. That thing popped into my head first is
Ned Beatty because he's on the list.
Well, that's a good one. These are all better.
Will Sasso because he's on the list.
Those are all better than the first person who popped in my head for whatever reason. This is John Polito right here for Uncle Vernon, right? That's who we're talking about.
Yeah, Uncle Vernon. And by the way, he's been fatter than all those pictures.
Yeah, this guy's not a great Uncle Vernon, really, but we need somewhere in here. We need a place for Wallace Shawn, I think, because if you make a Harry Potter, Americanized Harry Potter, or whatever, Wallace Shawn should be in that.
I don't have you a Wallace Shawn, but I have you a Wallace Shawn adjacent, and he's coming up. Okay? And shut up. Don't say anything. Don't say a word after this because your brain's going to eventually get there. Aunt Petunia, this was a layup. Joan Cusack.
Mm-hmm.
Sirius Black. This one was so difficult. I almost gave it crazily enough to Keanu Reeves, but I didn't. He's Canadian. But that's not the reason I didn't give it to him. You know who I think would play the best Sirius Black? Because here's what you have to have with a Sirius Black. You have to have someone who is ultimately good, but who can come out the gate playing evil. I give it to none other than my man, Billy Crudup, Sirius Black.
He's great. What do you think about our boy Anson Mount? I think he could play Sirius Black.
I almost gave Anson Mount the role. I almost gave Anson Mount the role. That's our boy. I fucking talked to him the other day.
Yeah, he's like first of all, he's from Tennessee, which is always hit for me, but he definitely can do that kind of dark, broody feller
Anson Mount, let me tell you who I almost gave Anson Mount the role of. And I'm not going to tell you who I eventually gave it to, but the role of Lupin almost went to. There are 3 people there's one person it did go to, but there's 2 that it almost went to. It almost went to our buddy W. Earl Brown, but I determined him too old. But I did want to shout him out.
Earl could probably play a Mad Eye Moody. Going back to him, if you think of Brendan Gleeson as Mad Eye Moody, Earl could be an American.
I agree.
Sure.
I agree. Also for Lupin, I almost picked Anson Mount because I think that he gives off that like revered thing, but I won't tell you who. I'll tell you who Lupin ultimately is, and I think you'll go, well, there's no question that that's Lupin. But Sirius Black, I go with Billy Crudup. Beatrix Lestrange, I go with another Tim Burton lover, Winona Ryder. Gotta be.
He's a good one. I bet here's a left field Bellatrix Lestrange for you. I don't know if she can pull it off or not, but how about Aubrey Plaza?
No, Aubrey Plaza is Tonks.
Yeah, that's a good one. You're right. That's a good one.
She's Tonks. Yeah. I love where you're going, but Aubrey Plaza is Tonks. We've already got her locked in as Tonks.
Yeah,
I like where your head's at, though. Am I hitting so far?
Yeah.
Okay, Lucius Malfoy. This one was difficult, but I think you're going to agree with me if you really think about it. Tom Cruise.
I mean, if we could get him, sure.
Well, if we could get him.
He could definitely pull that off. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Voldemort. This was difficult. You know who I'm going? I want you to guess who I'm going with.
Man, I don't know. American Voldemort.
Think about not only American. Oh boy, redneck. from the middle of the country.
Lee Pace.
Lee Pace, baby.
Yeah.
Lee fucking Pace or Anne Heche.
No, Lee Pace is a great choice. He's like, I mean, I love him so much because he is a redneck old boy from Oklahoma who somehow pulls off these like, right? Not just that's what I'm saying. It's not just that. Have you ever seen the show Foundation on Apple TV?
It's awesome. He's great.
He plays the emperor, and it's like
who has clones, and it's his
he's
older
the
dad.
only American. He's the only American who gets those type of like fucking
aristocracy
regal,
roles.
Like big epic roles like that. They almost exclusively go to British people. The only American who ever gets. Oh, also he was like the king of the goddamn elves in the fucking
in
Middle
Ring
Earth
of Power.
Yeah, right. And then no, he's not in that. He's not in the show. He was in the Hobbit movies, right?
That's right. The Hobbit movies, yeah.
But anyway, no American gets roles like that except for Lee Pace, and Lee Pace is a fucking good old boy from Oklahoma, and that's just
he's gorgeous.
It makes him one of my favorite actors. Period. Because I just love that so much.
So I think he would look good.
Representation matters. Anyway,
I think he would look good in flashbacks too. Arthur Weasley. This was difficult, and by the way, obviously we can give him red hair. Arthur Weasley, I think you got to go Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Mrs. Weasley, character actress Margot Martindale, without question.
Mm-hmm.
Now Lupin, like I told you, and this is one where
you know who also can do Mrs. Weasley, I think, is Deborah Jo Rupp.
Deborah Jo Rupp would crush as her, or Dale Dickey, but more Deborah Jo Rupp. More Deborah Jo Rupp. Dale Dickey would have to tone her ass down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, by the way, can I tell you something? I saw the movie Small Town Crime the other day, which I really, really enjoyed. And I was drawn to it not just because a person who I'm about to name is the star of it, but because it listed Dale Dickey as a co-star. And I was like, oh, here we go. She was in one scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so upset. And this movie came out like last year. I'm like, how at this point do we not realize that Dale Dickey should be in every fucking scene? She's one of the greatest character actresses of all time. She's one of the greatest actresses, period. Okay. Lupin. I really struggled with this, but I think it's Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Yeah, because I feel like Paul Giamatti is a damn it. What's the guy hits that plays him? What's his fucking David Thewlis. That's right. Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's great. He hits it, and he's kind of like he's sort of Giamatti-esque for sure.
He is
because he's a
Coen Brothers standby. He's a good actor, but it's just that Giamatti always plays characters that are a little intellectual and also father figures to those who they're not actually the father of. You know, and I also think that I saw his turn in Rhino in Spider-Man 2. He can get evil. He can be a werewolf. Here's where I'm going to give you your Wallace Shawn adjacent, because I almost cast Wallace Shawn in this role and I went a different direction. Peter Pettigrew, a.k.a. Scabbers.
Yeah.
Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Clint Howard. Or
can't argue with that.
Wallace Shawn can play him when he's the rat. Okay. Professor Quirrell. A lot of people don't remember Professor Quirrell is in the first movie. He is the first time we ever see Voldemort. Voldemort is attached to the back of his head. I'm going with John Hawkes.
Okay. I can see that.
Now, I have not cast any of the children, and I'm not going to because I don't know how to do that.
I was going to say, I was expecting you to start naming off like young hitting actors, but who are like 20 something. I was going to be them. Well, first of all, there's that. But secondly, I was going to kind of call foul on that because I was going to be like, dude, you got to, if you're starting from the beginning, like, you got to cast hitting 10-year-olds. You don't know hitting 10-year-olds.
And here's where Amber brought that up. And I said, literally the only one I could possibly do, because I've seen him when he was younger, is I would say Jake Gyllenhaal would be Harry. That's it. That's the only one, because I've seen him as a child actor. I could see Jake Gyllenhaal being Harry, but I just refuse to do those because it's just too difficult.
I just wouldn't.
However, the only one I did was Tom Riddle, because Tom Riddle was a teenager in that sequence, and I'm giving that to Timothy Chalamet. Who
I knew you were going to say that.
And you know what? I thought there's no way Timothy Chalamet is from America. He sure is. He's an American French actor born in New York.
I was about to say he's like a New York socialite fucker.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know. he was like scandalous when he was at NYU because he started like a gonorrhea outbreak or something like that.
Yeah. Well, dude, if you hit hard and your dick has gonorrhea, you're going to start a gonorrhea outbreak.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? Like, it's not his fault that his dick got gonorrhea and he hit.
No.
Anyway,
he's a fancy little twink, that Timothy Chalamet. He does hit though.
Nearly Headless Nick. This was easy to me because Nearly Headless Nick is played by John Cleese, who is a acclaimed British comedian actor. It's Robin Williams.
Bill Murray? Oh, okay.
Oh, Bill Murray's good too. Bill Murray might be better. But I don't know how you usurp Robin Williams over anything. But
no,
either way,
I hear you with that. I just sort of, for whatever reason, when I thought American John Cleese, but Bill Murray just popped into my head.
No. Actually, I replaced this. Bill Murray. Bill Murray wins. And now the last but not, well, that's true. Last casting, and then I have a thing that I need to say at the end. This is only for people who read the books. If you didn't read the books, you don't know. Peeves, okay?
Yeah, Peeves is not in the movies.
Peeves, and if you don't, Trae, please describe Peeves to those who have not watched the movies.
He's like a prankster little shithead ghost. They got all them ghosts in Hogwarts, and he's like a little fuckhead who just, it's just a prank, bro, as a ghost, sort of.
Cat Williams.
Cat
Williams.
That's a good
Cat
one.
Williams is Peeves. And here's my alternate. You do the whole movie Nutty Professor style, and Jim Carrey plays every role. Because every single, and here's why, because when me and Amber were casting all of this, she goes, Jim Carrey could do that. Jim Carrey could do that. Jim Carrey could do that. And I was like, God damn it, you're right. Okay, so that's my casting for that. Now, last but not least, Trae, and I don't think this will take a long time. I would like, if you're down with it, I would like me and you, because we always make fun of each other. You always call me a Hufflepuff. I would like for us to officially sort ourselves into Harry Potter houses. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
But we get to sort each other. Like, you get to tell me,
okay,
you get to answer for me. So we're gonna go with you first. How about that?
Which means that you're gonna answer these.
That I'm answering these. Yeah, okay, I'm answering these for Trae. Okay, let's see. Dawn or dusk? Choose one to continue. But dude, you are dusk.
Oh yeah, easily.
You are 100% dusk.
What are you most? Less dawn.
What are you most looking forward to learning at Hogwarts? All about the magical creatures and how to befriend / care for them.
Nope.
Flying on a broomstick. No. Apparition and dispiration. Being able to materialize. No, you don't like that. That don't hit for you. Secrets about the castle. You're kind of nerdy. Transfiguration. Turning one object onto another object. I kind of. Hexes and jinxes. You're a very kind boy. I don't know if I'd give that to you. Every area of magic I can. That's you. You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
Let's see. After you have died, what would you most like people to do when they hear your name? Ask for more stories about your adventures. Miss you, but smile. Think with admiration of your achievements. I'm going back to that if there's not a better one. I don't care what people think of me after I'm dead. It's what they think of me while I'm alive that counts. Nah, fuck that.
No.
It's think with admiration of your achievements.
100%.
Would you rather be liked, trusted, feared, envied, imitated, praised? Okay, this is praised is good, but imitated, no. Envied, no. Feared, I think trusted. I think you would like to be trusted because you're a very good person. You're a very loyal person. I'm being honest here. I think that you would, of all those things, you would like to be trusted.
Very sweet.
4 goblets are placed before you. Which would you choose to drink? The smooth, thick, richly purple drink that gives off a delicious smell. Well, yeah, this is it before I even have to go into anything. The mysterious black liquid that gleams like ink. Nope. The foaming, frothing, silvery liquid that sparkles. Nope. The golden liquid so bright. Nope. It's the first one. It's the purple drink. It's the lean.
I want that purple stuff.
You want that lean, boy.
You know, it's purple drink every time.
Choose a category to continue. Cats.
Oh, come on. Easy.
Yeah. If you were attending Hogwarts, which pet would you choose to take with you? Ginger cat, white cat, Siamese cat, tabby cat, black cat for sure. A muggle confronts you and says they are sure you are a witch or a wizard. Do you ask what makes them think so? Tell them that you were worried about their mental health and offer to call a doctor. That's what I do. Agree and ask whether they'd like a free sample of a jinx. Agree and walk away, leaving them to wonder whether that's you because you can't lie and you would immediately get out of the situation. That's you.
I'd try to.
Heads or tails, you're going to pick tails.
Never fails.
The sorting hat is ready to make its decision. Continue.
I'm about to be pissed off, I bet. I mean, you did a good job. I knew
You're
it.
a Gryffindor.
Always knew it.
You're a Gryffindor, yeah. Okay, how do I start over? And by the way, I was fair to you, I feel like.
I know you were. I'm going to try to be fair, I promise.
And also, I think that shows, and people don't understand this, but like, I'm a good friend to you, and I love you, and I respect you. And I meant earlier when I said, when I was talking about my kid, that you... Well, first off, tell the people, how many times when I found out that Amber was pregnant, did I cry on your chest?
So many times. We be crying all the time, both of us.
Right. But you...
Okay, really hang on. I appreciate you being very sweet.
Okay. And then you cut me off.
I did, yes. Because I got this ready to go. Can you see it?
Okay. Yeah, I can. These are different.
I mean, you walk through the forest like every single day.
Every day,
I'm going to go with forest. If you could have any power, what you choose? The power to read minds, you claim to already have that, at least with your mama. The power to change the past, that would probably hit for you, I'd imagine. The power of invisibility, no, you want to be seen.
It is. Oh, fuck
power
you.
Power to speak to animals, feel like that would hit for you. Superhuman strength. Power to change your appearance at will.
Hair.
I know at first only because of the bald thing, and I find this one hard. I'm going to pick this one, the power to change your appearance at will, because I feel like you just grow some hair immediately and then try to learn other magic.
Yeah, right.
That would like to be known to history. The great, that's a good choice. The wise, the bold, the good. I think the great probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
You definitely want people to know that you hit.
Yeah.
Would you rather be liked, trusted, feared, envied, imitated, or man, this is hard.
This is hard for me
because I know you want to be praised, but I know you also desperately want to be liked, like every comedian on earth. Sure, being imitated and envied probably would both hit for you. I don't think you want to be feared, and I mean, it's not that you don't want to be trusted.
That just don't hit as hard as the other ones,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I do. I want all of them. Yeah,
right. I think I'm going to go with praised.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which roads tempt you the most? Again, twisting, leaf-strewn path through the woods. That's going to be hard not to pick that because you literally do that every day of your life. The wild, sunny, grassy lane, the narrow, dark, lantern-lit alley. That's my shit right there.
That don't not hit for me.
The cobbled street lined with ancient buildings. That
also hits for me. I just don't have that where I'm from.
I know. That is a good point. Well, I guess because of that, because I know that does
like
hit for you.
Boston is my shit, dude.
Yeah, I know. And when we was in like Edinburgh,
I need to shut up. I need to let you do this.
You enter an enchanted garden. What would you be most curious to examine first? The fat red toadstools that appear to be talking to each other. It sounds like drugs. That hits. Drugs hits. The bubbling pool in the depths of which something luminous is swirling. The silver leaf tree bearing golden apples.
Food.
The statue of an old wizard with a strange twinkling eye. I feel like, golden apples are I'm reading these mushrooms as that they fuck you up. That's probably not what they mean since this is a kid's thing. Maybe they're it's a wink, wink. But they're toadstools that are talking, that appear to be talking to each other. I feel like you'd either go hit with the mushrooms or try one of these golden apples out. That's what I think. I don't know. This pool of luminosity. It also
I feel like these pools of luminosity. These are hard.
Yeah, they are cool.
And I don't get them a lot.
You like shiny stuff.
I do. Yeah, dude. Chrome, boy. Woo.
Cats, toads, or owls?
I mean, look, do you want my help? Because I know you cats, but like, right. I definitely like cats more than those things.
That's what I was thinking. Because they're
domestic. I like domestic animals. Now this I'll leave up to you.
I think that one.
Tabby cat's it for me.
Well, it just looks big and fluffy.
They're the gayest too.
I mean, all cats are pretty gay.
Yeah, but tabby cats are the gayest.
Man, white or black? Obviously, black is cool, but
yeah,
you ain't really a dark person. You know, you loud like.
But black, I wear black more.
All right.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, look at that. 2 Gryffindors.
Hey, we both Gryffindor, motherfucker. How about that? You always joking saying I'm Hufflepuff. Only because of the word puff, by the way, has ever... It really is that... I need you... I'm going to put you on Front Street right now. Isn't it just because the word puff?
No, Hufflepuffs are like... You know, they're like fun and...
but they don't do shit in the movies.
Lighthearted, and I know neither does... I've always said... My genuine answer for the past few years now has been like... And even when I played, even when I played the game, I bought the game, I was honest with myself. I always said, like, look, of course I want to say I'm in Gryffindor, but I think the truth is I would have been a Ravenclaw is what I really think. And they don't do shit in the movies either. But still, I know what each one is supposed to be.
All of my merch is Ravenclaw. Like, I have a bunch of Ravenclaw shirts and shorts and stuff like that because, like, Gryffindor colors don't hit for me because it's too USC. And I don't.
It's very USC. That's true. The Ravenclaw merch and stuff is pretty rad. Yeah,
it's the best. It's the best. Like, because I don't like Slytherin. Like Slytherin, I mean, green hits, but like you just can't be Slytherin because then that's being like I'm gonna shoot a skull up.
Katie has a Slytherin. She has Slytherin stuff she wears all the time.
She ain't fucking Slytherin. She ain't got a fucking brain. Like, Slytherins are smart. You know what I mean? Like, dude, ain't no goddamn Slytherin ever went into Hobby Lobby being like, I wonder if screws are on sale. Like, never once.
That part is true. Katie is pretty smart, but she's not conniving.
Okay, right. Yes. Katie, you are smart. I didn't mean to be like that you dumb, but like, you're not a Slytherin. Like, no. A Slytherin is, like, trust me, I know some... Dude, Amber, a Slytherin. Amber, a goddamn Slytherin. That conniving-ass bitch will fuck it. But, like, I've never understood why it's a Hufflepuff other than it's Puff, and that's like a cereal.
You're right. I don't know. You just always seemed all fun and fancy-free. You know,
I am, but like,
which I just associate with Hufflepuffs. But I just looked up Hufflepuff traits, and there's a lot of them on there. You know, loyal, you that, but also humble was on there. I wouldn't call that humble, patient. You know,
I'm not any of that.
But like fair, kind, loyal. You know, some of it did fit.
Also, like, I don't like. Okay, listen, I know most people wouldn't call me heroic. But I do love to come to the rescue. Like, that really does hit for me. Like, when I can help someone out. Now, it's all for selfish reasons. It's also that later I can be like, you really did a thing. But, like, when someone be needing me, I eat that shit up. And by the way, where I'm from, because I'm from a fucking podunk town where I'm the only one that hits, I stay being a hero to people. So, like, that does hit for me. And, like, you know, okay, I mean, think about it in your life. I'd do anything for you, would I not? Mm-hmm. Have I not?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Now, I've accidentally fucked you over.
Another thing I've always thought once I got older and I looked at it, I was like, dude, Gryffindor is kind of really, it's like the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah, they're faking it.
But I'm saying it's like they're like the perfect square-jawed dynasty kids. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the ones that just got it all. Like they row crew in real life. It's like they row crew at Harvard. They got rich parents. They're trust fund kids. They're good looking. They're statuesque. They're just it's all
except
that.
Harry.
And no, dude, fuck that. Harry, bro.
Well, yeah,
Harry is absolutely like a trust fund kid. Fucking people pointed out before since then, which is true. It's like Harry Potter's like a trust fund kid who then grows up and becomes a cop, right? Like
that's so true. He's Batman.
Yeah, but so once I realized that as an adult, I was like, man, I never would have got put in.
Okay,
Gryffindor,
but Weasley's a Gryffindor, though.
I mean, yeah, but he's from a a proud wizarding family. They poor, but they got poor. He got the good blood or whatever. But I mean, Hermione, she's a mudblood, and you wouldn't think they'd let her in. Maybe she's like a diversity hire thing. It's Hermione's DEI. DEI done took over.
What do you think the soft A version of mudblood is?
Muddy. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Well, do you want to get to? Well, first off, let's do a toast and a moment of silence to Dame Maggie Smith.
Cheers.
Cheers. What are you drinking?
Water.
Coward. We do have some airmail that I didn't get to last week because we ran over. We ran over on this episode as well, but still. Hey, Limerick. Hadn't had one in a while, Trae. Got one. Limerick time is the subject line. Hey, guys, been a fan and noticed a lack of limericks lately, so here we go. The boys of POA, you will see that Corey always must pee. They talk about pills, and Trae gets in his feels when Cho unleashes the bee. You guys are like hot pork chops and sweet like cornbread. You can say my name, Robert D.
Thank you, Bobby D.
This subject line says, story for Corey. Hello, Trae and Corey. First off, Trae, thank you for being so kind when I was a total dork. Being legally blind, doing things alone is hard, and I went out of my comfort zone, and it was so nice to meet you here in Dayton. Your new material is lovely and totally helped me blow off some election anxiety and end of fiscal stress. Do you miss the world of government acquisition? I'll let you answer that.
I mean, no.
Right.
I'll baldly, full-on honest answer. Sometimes when I'm raging at this godforsaken town and industry that is Hollywood, which is something
you're like, it'd be nice to have a regular job.
Yeah, like I do feel that. There, we all have moments, I think, where it's like, what the fuck? Why do I do this fucking shit? Like, dude, it will eat away at you sometimes. And in those moments, I'm like, man, my old job was simple. It was easy. Right. I knew it. It was consistent and never changed. It was a pretty good job. But then I'm like, bro, you sleep till 9 every day. Like, you wouldn't go back to that. So no, dude,
I slept till 10:30 today, and I got a baby.
It's just a grass is always greener thing is all it is. No, I do not actually miss it. Well, I mean, when I was working that job, I was flat out miserable, but
not to pile on here, but I actually literally had the same thought earlier today, going back to us talking about how like our kids, like when you start doing stand up, anybody that says like, well, I'm a stand up comedian, but I don't have an ego, they're lying, because the only reason that you would get into stand up is to have an ego. Like in your brain, you stand up in front of hundreds of people and talk, and you want them to think what you say is good. That's an ego, right? Well, your ego, in my opinion, and you told me this would happen, and it's true. When I had a kid, my ego was like, we out of here, dog. Bye. See ya. Mm-hmm. No ego. It's all about him, whatever. Well, I was thinking the other day, I was like, the most happy I ever am is when I'm with him. So why do I even need this other thing that I was pretending made me happy? Like, I was like, if I worked for the national park and just came home to my son, wouldn't that hit? And then I was like, nah, I'm too deep in it. I got to keep going.
It's not just that. You think that, but if you work for the national park, you'd see him less than you do now, for sure.
Yeah. I gave you the Spark Notes version of the story of how my white trash North Carolina papaw died. Corey, this one is for you. I don't know why, but I feel like you need to hear this. Now let's spill family gossip on the internet. That's the whole topic for POA, family gossip. I know it's interwoven throughout the whole show, but I feel like unhinged lore is such a unique connection between trash and fancy people. Anyway, my papaw had a long history of white trash escapades that ended in his death. This man ran wild in town, ran illegal poker houses, sold bootleg liquor in said houses, and even recruited my mom to go on beer runs for him. The NASCAR betting pool he started in the 80s is still going strong. NC, baby! Skew! This man was the definition of red and taught me every word to David Allen Coe's "You Never Even Called Me by My Name" in the parking lot of dance studios. The only days he didn't get hammered were the days he knew he had to take me to dance class. This man was also a firm believer in plastic surgery, as he told anyone who would listen about the miracles of his penis pump. Well, his death was equally as dramatic as his life was. He was, of course, cheating on his wife. By the way, the lady he was married to was the lady he cheated on my grandmother with, and ending their second time married to each other. Had to get his money's worth on his investment. As any sleazy holler man would, he was getting his dick sucked on some random dude's property, sitting in his Jeep on the side of the road. White liquor was consumed. The man who owned the property angrily stormed out, and the inevitable warning shot went through the window of the Jeep and straight into the skull of my papaw. You may think this is the end of the tale, but no. The funeral was totally DIY, and my sweet, oblivious Canadian dad Googled country funeral music, and as the receiving of friends started,
What? You can't do that. What?
And as the receiving of friends started, the sweet sounds of Goodbye Earl began to play. A vibe. This is, of course, the story I tell anyone I come across in my new fancy life. Laughs in federal employ. To explain life in Appalachian backwoods, North Carolina, I constantly get, "This was a long time ago, right?" No, bitch. Nope. This happened in 2016. Yeah. It'll end with a fun little interlude that happened a few years after the deadly trip to the third base. The woman that gave the fatal hawk to her, my lesbian heart cringed writing that phrase, is named Sybil. Common old lady feminine name, right? Well, not according to Gen Z. Over many $2 margaritas at the local Mexican restaurant, we found out that my sister thought Sybil was a man's name. Now, Papa was not rolling with the LGBTs. After a fit of screeching laughter, that caused the poor wait staff to scold us. Not my sister uttered quietly, "Fuck, I told half the county." So not only did my papa die getting a blowjob on the side of the road, but my sister spread the rumor it was a gay blowjob. Love y'all lots. Thanks for keeping me sane. Holly.
Jesus Christ, Holly.
I can't read another one after that.
No, absolutely not. Bringing the heat. Listen, on the subject of Airmail, though, I'm telling you again, I texted you. I'm only doing this to put it on the record because I believe the person, they said they listened to the show. They better listen to the show. Met someone in the line in Atlanta at my Atlanta show this weekend. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. I met a lot of people. I apologize. But this person told me that they have curated an exhaustive list of Southern idioms. Okay. And they want to share it with us. And I told them that would hit. And I said to email it to the POA account. And they were like, "You won't never see it. Corey won't read it." And I was like, "Well, just send it there and make the subject line something about how hard Corey hits, right? That way he'll see it. Also, I'll tell him." I have now told you. This is the second. I'm telling you on the record now.
No,
so the person
I remember,
knows that I've said. Well, maybe she ain't sent it yet. I'm just saying this to get it out there so I've got plausible deniability in the future if it don't ever come through or you don't ever see it or whatever. But I've said it anyway. With that said, come see me in Missouri, Springfield tomorrow night, Columbia, home of the Tigers, Sunday, and then
what Tigers?
Yeah, and then coming up after that, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, then Philly, Newark, Frederick, Maryland, a whole bunch of other places coming up in the near future. Appleton, Wisconsin. Go to TraeCrowder.com. Get your tickets. Come see me make a hit.
Hey, I know that everybody thinks I'm stupid, and that's fine, but I also write for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which I'm proud to do because I'm following the footsteps of one of my heroes, Louis Grizzard. So go to ajc.com, go to the opinion section. You can see everything I've ever written. I just wrote about the 100th Trae's leaving. I just wrote about the 100th birthday of Jimmy Carter. I've written, I think, 8 pieces for them. You can check them out. And not only that, I'm the only opinion columnist for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that reads his own writing. So when you click listen to this article, you actually hear me doing it. The rest of them are lazy, good for nothing, but me, I send it in. So if you would rather hear me say it, you can hear that. Also, please go to welovecorey.com. That is where you can get my bonus stuff. By the way, one of the bonus things I did, you will love. It's called 3 Clicks and a Hick. It's where we go to a random Wikipedia page and see if we can get to Hitler in 3 clicks. And last week, my guest was none other than Lord Trae Crowder, the man himself. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Also, October 11th, I will be in Atlanta. Go to comicsforkamala.com because that is the show we're doing. Comics for Kamala. It's me and the legendary George Wallace, friend of the show, one of the first guests we ever had on Well Read, an icon if there ever was an icon. Come see us there. And other than that, follow us on social media. Tell all your friends about this show. Tag us. And if you're just listening, go to watchpoa.com and watch it. And other than that, stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Skew.
Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at putting on airs, putting on airs, putting on airs.